So apologies if you can hear any background noise in this video. It's a very hot day here in the UK and I'm trying to keep this studio as cool as I possibly can because my camera is already overheated and I've had to restart this recording already. So it's been a bit of a nightmare, but we'll persist and we'll go ahead. So I've got a new pile of physical media that I've recently picked up. I've got a couple of releases from Second Sight. I also have a new release from 88 Films and another really exciting addition to the Arrow video collection. Right, so the first film I picked up was The Brood. Now this is just the standard Blu-ray from Second Sight. So this is of course a film from David Cronenberg, famous for obviously like the likes of The Fly, Videodrome, a really sort of iconic horror director. But I honestly didn't know too much about this one. So I picked it up and I gave it a watch and I honestly really enjoyed it. If you're a fan of like creepy psychological kind of body horror, you're going to really like this one. And this film has great performances all around, some really good kind of body horror, as you can imagine from a David Cronenberg film. And a really interesting plot that I found really hard to kind of read and really hard to kind of predict. I didn't really know where this film was going. But it kind of kept me hooked all the way through, and I really enjoyed its conclusion. Again, a really kind of creepy, gross body horror ending that left me feeling a little bit uncomfortable. This is just the standard edition Blu-ray, but even so, a really nicely presented film, loads of special features. So yeah, definitely recommend The Brood. So staying on the theme of horror and Second Sight Blu-rays, I picked up The Coffee Table. So I actually heard about this film through a podcast. I listen to a lot of film related podcasts, as you can imagine, and this was one of the films that the particular podcast recommended, and so I kind of knew what I was getting into, but this did surprise me. I didn't realise that Second Sight did a release of it, so when I saw it in HMV, and obviously I'd heard about it from this podcast, I thought I'd definitely pick it up and give it a go. So I'm not going to go into too much detail on the plot of this film, because I think it is best if you go into this blind without knowing any of the premise. So the best way I can describe The Coffee Table is stressful, uncomfortable, nightmare inducing. It's just this really horrible scenario that the film takes place in. And one of the things that I found hard to kind of grasp with this was the tone, because the tone almost comes across as kind of like a dark kind of black comedy. But with the subject matter, I guess it's more kind of just uncomfortable humor and kind of laughing at the kind of absurdity of it more than the actual situation itself. So I wouldn't necessarily say I enjoyed this film given all of those things, but I would say I'm impressed with it. It is a kind of lower budget Spanish film, so it is Spanish language with English subtitles. And I don't want to sound too harsh to the filmmakers of this or the writers, whoever is involved, but to be honest, I didn't really get the point of this film or what it was trying to say, other than it just being kind of this horrible nightmare scenario. I didn't really get the point on what it was trying to say and what the message was. But I am impressed with this film. As I say, it gave me that sort of horrible sense of dread as a viewer, which is always impressive if you can achieve that through a film with especially low budget. So yeah, I think there's definitely bits in here that I think are worth checking out, but overall just not one that I would highly recommend, not only because of the subject matter but also just it did leave me a little bit cold. But yeah, it's a nice one to have in the collection, something a little bit different. Definitely not one I would put on as like a comfort movie, for sure, but it's certainly one that I'm happy to have in the collection as something just a little bit different. Right, so that's it for the Second Sight Blu-rays. Next up, we have a really interesting new release from 88 Films, and it is Magnificent Bodyguards in 3D. Now this is a Jackie Chan film, and that is going to be the theme for the rest of this video. Now this is really exciting because recently I have been getting into watching a lot more martial arts films, specifically like the Shaw Brothers films from Arrow, and a few of the kind of 88 Films Asia collection. So it's really cool actually to have a martial arts film presented in 3D. Is kind of a bit of a gimmick, but I think it's just a really cool release to have. Now I wasn't sure how this was going to be presented, whether it would have the Blu-ray 3D, which you can only watch if you have like a proper 3D TV and a 3D Blu-ray player, or if it would have the anaglyph 3D glasses and things. And I'm pleased to say it does have the 3D glasses, which obviously you can now watch on your standard TV at home. Put these on, see if they're, yeah, there you go. So yeah, we have the 3D Blu-ray, which is obviously one you can only watch if you've got a Blu-ray TV and a Blu-ray player. We also have the 2D edition, which I'm really pleased to have, because obviously you don't always want to be sat on your sofa wearing these. So it's nice to have the 2D version of the film as well that you can enjoy. Then of course on disc 3 we have the anaglyph 3D, or the red and blue 3D. We also have a lovely booklet which comes with a lot of these 88 Films releases, with just loads of information and added sort of behind the scenes bits and bobs in there, which is really nice. I honestly don't know too much about the actual film itself and whether or not it's any good or how well regarded it is, but obviously at some point in time it was released in 3D, so it's really cool to have in the collection as a bit of a gimmick, I guess. I do actually have PlayStation VR, which if you don't know can play Blu-ray 3D. If you wear the headset and you put your Blu-ray 3D Blu-ray disc in the PlayStation, you can actually watch the film in 3D through the headset, which is really cool. So maybe if the film's good, I might give it a go in the VR headset. But yeah, I think what's really nice as well is having the lenticular cover. I think that's a really nice touch. Makes it feel a lot more kind of special. Excited to have this one in the collection. It's a bit of an odd one in terms of it being that old school 3D as well as a kind of obscure Jackie Chan martial arts film, but it's a fun one to have in the collection, and I just had to pick it up because it's a classic martial arts movie in 3D. My eyes have all gone weird colours now because I've been looking through those glasses for so long. So staying on the theme of martial arts movies and specifically Jackie Chan, we have a really exciting new addition to the Arrow Video collection. And that is this big, chunky, heavy box set, Jackie Chan's Breakout Hits. Now this is very similar to the Bruce Lee at Golden Harvest set that came out a few years ago now. This is a big collection of Jackie Chan's Breakout Hits. So this set features Drunken Master 2, Rumble in the Bronx, Thunderbolt, Police Story 4, First Strike, Mr. Nice Guy, and Who Am I? So that is 6 films from Jackie Chan, and it is, as you can see, a beautiful set from Arrow Video. Arrow Video do the best box sets in my opinion, in terms of what you get for your money, what's included, and the presentation as well. So if I take off the slipcover, obviously you can see just the amount of stuff that's in this set. It is very chunky, very heavy. It's almost like holding like a house brick of stuff. So there's loads in here. We've got obviously, as you can see, the 4K Blu-rays of the films. We have a box of art cards, a poster that's tucked in there, and a big chunky booklet, again with loads of information in that Arrow Video seem to do so well. Now I'm not going to go into too much detail on this set. I'm not going to open it up too much more than this because I do plan to do a proper in-depth review of this one. So as you can see as well, this is the blue cover, which is the Arrow store exclusive. The other cover I'll put here, which is the red cover, which I think looks equally as cool, to be honest. I think they're both great looking sets, but as an Arrow Video fan, I just decided to go for the Arrow store exclusive. So yeah, really excited to have this in the collection. And again, keep an eye out on the Runtime channel. Subscribe if you haven't already, because I will be doing a much more in-depth review of this once I've dug into it a bit more, so I can give it the treatment that it deserves. So that is it for the most recent additions to my physical media collection. Some really exciting new releases coming from Arrow. Great to see 88 Films doing a 3D Blu-ray, which is really, really nice to see. And of course, some more additions to the Second Sight collection. We've recently just surpassed 1,500 followers on Instagram, which is just mind-blowing. So thank you to each and every one of you who's followed on there. And again, thank you to everyone over on TikTok as well, because we've just surpassed 2,000 followers over on there. So thank you all for your ongoing support. I'm off to watch magnificent Bodyguards in 3D, and I will see you in the next video.